Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Catherine Lorimer's Guide to Life podcast. So, quick check down to make sure the mute button isn't pressed. How are you guys all doing? You good? Yeah, good. How am I? Well, we've got to. It's the 29th of May. We've got to the end of May. Obviously, last minute recording the podcast. I usually listen back to my kind of self-development podcast, but this week I haven't, so I can't remember what on earth I was saying last month. Professional as ever. So I'm just going to have to wing it, unfortunately, and go with it. So I went on a Pilates retreat at the beginning of the month. I can't believe it was the beginning of the month. It was the beginning of May. It's just gone so quickly. And it was, do you know what? It was great. Same people we went with. A few different people. I shared a room with a stranger. I feel like I've already said this before, but I don't know if I've said it to you guys or just said it out there in general. So I won't talk too much about it because I don't want to repeat myself. So that was pretty good. We've done that. I've submitted some art. The Pilates retreat was really great. It was fantastic. So chilled out, so relaxing to be in the sunshine. I've done some art and it's now in an exhibition at Castle Park. There's 5 little pieces. No idea if anything's going to sell or not, but do you know what? It's just actually they're kind of like, getting something submitted for an exhibition. It's all new. And it's kind of made me realise, because there's been various dates coming up and people are saying, oh, you can submit for this, for that deadline. And I thought, well, I could rush something, but actually I think it's better to stop, think about, what it is that you kind of want to paint and get it right. And spend a bit of time so you're only exhibiting your best work. So I'll be doing that. I've bought 2 really posh canvases and I'm going to have a think about what to do, what to put on those canvases, and then get them ready there's loads of exhibitions coming up in July or even for next year, so that when someone says in future, oh, there's an exhibition coming up, I can go, right, okay, I've got 2 really good paintings that I think I could go in an exhibition. And that's the plan, rather than trying to cram stuff. Because I know there's a guy, a part of our art group, and he has been submitting them everywhere. And it just, sometimes it's overkill, isn't it? And so I think less is more in this instance, and more quality. I'm hoping to get some time to do some more art today, but I'm just looking at my watch and it's already 10:30, having just spent half an hour chatting with the neighbour. But you know what? It's great because I do chat with my particular neighbour all the time. We get on really, really well. Again, she's an equestrian person, and do you know what? Sometimes you learn some key pieces of information, don't you? Chatting to your neighbours. Yeah, there's a few things I think that might come in useful at some point in time. Just to have known that piece of information. So that's pretty good. So it's a, note to chat to people more. Because sometimes you think, right, okay, yeah, no, I could use that in my life. We're just having a conversation about the fact that neither of us drink that much, alcohol, which is good. Okay, so what else have I been doing? I've been doing my golf. The golf lessons have now finished. For one, I was doing like 3 golf lessons a week. How I fitted it all in, I don't really know. But now I'm down to 1 on a Saturday, which is much more manageable. So enjoying doing some golf. I've missed it this week, actually, not hitting a few balls. It's actually quite therapeutic. It's kind of a form of mindfulness, hitting 100 small white balls into a field towards a flag. Very sort of mindfulness. So, but I have missed that this week. So I do need to. I've got my first game of golf. I think I'm playing with Mr. B. We're playing on the golf course. I think we're doing it Monday, so I'll let you know how that goes. I'm also going to drag him over to Golf Shop. There's a great secondhand golf shop that's not too bad, because if you're just learning to do something, there's no point buying some expensive things. So I'm doing that. I'm hopeful to go and do that ahead of going and playing golf. So it's a bumblebee nest. Okay, I think I mentioned that I had bees nesting in my bathroom ceiling. Right, it's actually a bumblebee nest. So you can't get anyone out. They're not doing any harm. They're just nesting there. So at some point they'll disappear. Okay, probably towards the autumn time, in which case I'll take it off and get that bit replaced so they can't. Because the next thing, I don't want mice getting in there in the winter, or a rat. That would be a complete disaster. So it's always best to sort of check these things and have a plan in place. so that you can kind of get these things fixed. Okay, I'm still doing my swimming 3 times a week, which is going really, really well. You may have seen on Instagram as well, I've been putting posts up about my running. Yeah, and particularly there's one this morning. And if you have a look at my time, it's a lot quicker, 9.3 something or other, as opposed to 10 point something. And that's run walking. So I'm running 30 minutes on, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So that's a pretty decent time for somebody who's got all these issues and a plated metal ankle. It's pretty good time. So that's all coming up. But obviously you've got to have something to aim for the future. So I have signed up for a 3K. I'm doing that in a couple of months' time. It's just a charity one. I need to raise some money for charity, but hey, that's fine. I'll shove that up on social media as well. So that's all good. That's happening. That's going on. Okay, stable move went okay. Pony settled in really, really well. He's in a little herd, okay? There's him and 3 girls, and he's well happy. Okay, and there's this little pony who just absolutely adores him, apparently. Sort of follows him everywhere. She just loves him. That's what her owner said. And there's also other people like him. So I was bringing him in on my way to work. This week it was, and there's a guy actually stopped, American guy stopped, and he said, "Oh, how's my favourite pony?" He's just looking. I was looking, the other day, and he went on about how wonderful he was, and he's watching him doing X, Y, Z, and I was like, right, okay, that's great, So Merlin's got a fan. It's just fine, and he's so happy. He has started. It's quite funny. So if we're out and about, and Bev's in front on Cookie, and she says, "Right, let's trot." He hears us saying that and he goes, "Ee!" This little high-pitched squeak and a bit of a bucker, then springs into canter. And I'm like, oh, we're trotting. But he's just so full of life and really enjoying himself. He's great. He's back to, so before where I was, he wasn't coming to me in the field. I'd kind of lost the rapport with him because I wasn't doing all the handling of him and I wasn't riding him all the time. Somebody else Jane was riding him quite a lot. And I kind of felt like I'd lost that connection with him. But now he sees me and, when I call him, and sometimes he'll come over, sometimes he's waiting at the gate, but he certainly comes to me now in the field when I go to get him, even though there's like other horses still out and I bring him in separately. He comes in earlier. So that works okay. It's just, I'm riding so much more. It's great. I've lost, as I say, I think I put it on Instagram this week, 4.6 kilograms, which is nearly a stone, which is fantastic. So pleased with that and how that's gone. So much so that some guy who looked a bit like the Cleany Ghost Hunter, I don't know if it was him or not, I don't know, but I was driving, I was listening to Keith Sutherland, interview with Keith Sutherland. It was really interesting. I was on an A road in Flintshire, that's all I'm going to say. And this guy in this Mercedes sort of slowed alongside me, and beeped at me and sort of smiled. The passenger smiled, and I was just like, okay, it's happening again. Do you know what? I had that once. Where was I? I was driving somewhere with my cousin, I think, and we were in a traffic jam. And these guys, I remember these guys were like trying to get our attention. And they even put like telephone mobile numbers up saying, please call me or something stupid like that. And did one actually get out the car and come and chat to us? I think they did. I can't remember. It was ridiculous behaviour. But anyway, it was just, I'm thinking, no, that's the only thing that's frustrating, about starting to lose weight again. You just get so much more attention from guys that I really don't want. Whereas if you're a little bit chubby and overweight, you get left alone. It's fine. But if you're not, it's just like, I know so also the guy lifted up the rope for me at the swimming pool. That was very nice. Thank you very much. I was like, I'm perfectly capable of doing it myself. Thank you very much. I don't want this. I don't need this. It just frustrates me. I'm just like, I just want to be left alone. But it's nice. I should appreciate it. It's fine. I'm sure other women will probably be quite happy with it all, but I'm just not one of those. I just don't like the attention. I just like to be left alone to ride my horse, if I'm honest. Okay, so we've had a few poo-picking wars going on. I've never had so many ranty WhatsApp messages about poo in my life. Just like it's getting ridiculous at one stage. Anyway, I'm now ended up doing 3 days when I've only got one small pony in the field, because do you know what? Sometimes things are easier just to keep the peace. But it is taking its toll on my back, if I'm honest. So I'm not sure how sustainable that is actually going to be. But do you know what? These things, never know, how long things are going to last, do you? And you just have to kind of enjoy the moments while they're there. And then something else will happen. You think, do you know what? It's time for a change. And that's what I was chatting to my friend Bev about this week. She was like, oh, she's a stayer. And I was like, but actually change is good for you. I know we don't really like to change, but actually change is good. It's otherwise, if you don't change, you don't grow, do you? So I've always kind of got that in my head. I'm like, right, okay, what can I do next? What can I do next to change myself? And like for the podcast, for example, I've got some ideas about things that I want to do. I went for a run this morning, so I was up about 5 o'clock. Well, did Pippa wake me up at 5 o'clock? Can't really blame her. She's fast asleep now on her little bed. You've all seen where she sleeps in the office. Fast asleep. She's just been giving the neighbours loads of attention and having a play with the Rottweiler next door as well. Yeah, it doesn't actually live here. It was just visiting. She had a bit of a set to with a sausage dog through the cat flap. It's like, that's, again, I was like, right, Pippa, you don't want to argue with that dog, really. No, it was quite funny. He was going through the cat flap and she was going back. And they have met each other, but he's got real attitude. And she's like, I'm not taking that crap from you. I'm an alpha female. Do you know what? And I think maybe we all need to be a little bit more like that, don't we? A bit more alpha female. Okay, yeah. So my neighbour was saying, how's your book writing going? And I'm like, yeah, come on, realistically, it's going to take me about 5 years, isn't it? She's like, yeah, you're never here. And I was like, I know. And I thought to myself, right, okay, you've got a laptop, Lorimer. Take the laptop with you and start just doing some, even if it's just for an hour. Because like for an hour at evening, I try and write, but actually it hasn't been happening since I've moved the pony to the new place because I'm up really early. I think that's right. I was up this morning. Did a run with Pippa. And then I went off, brought the pony in, but there's a swimming pool nearby that I go to. So I went for a swim. So I was in the pool about 7:45 and then back home for about 9 o'clock, or just actually after 9 o'clock, having already done a 2.5K run and 12 laps of the pool. So that's pretty good going, really, isn't it? And then I'm off. I'm just doing these podcasts. I'm going to do a few of them. I'm going to do a whole recording session this morning. I figure I've got until 12 o'clock. I need to cook and eat some food, but I bought a salad, so I'll probably do. And I'm going to try and get a few kind of like mashed out so that I don't have to worry about them because I'm not sure how I'm going to fit all these things in that I do. But the point is, though, that I did that. So on a normal work day, I managed to do that, get to where I needed to go. There's about 40 minutes travelling around, maybe about an hour's travelling around, actually, by the time I count in going to and from the swimming pool in the whole lot. So, do you know, you can go and do some exercise first thing in the morning before work. If you can fit it in, it is possible. And I think that's kind of the message that I want to say. There's like 3 hours, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I actually got up about 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. So that's 3 hours really, between, that's 3 hours in the morning where you can be doing stuff, where you can be, and people think, oh no, I can't possibly get up at 5:30. Why not? It's great. Honestly, there's no one about. I had the whole world to myself pretty much up here. Didn't see anybody else. Did we see anybody else, Pippa? No, we saw a big white cat that she chased, and that was it, really. Sorry to whoever owns the big white cat. Right. She just sort of zoomed off towards it. She's now fast asleep because she's had quite an active morning. So you have the whole world to yourself for at least an hour before everyone else gets up. So it's great to go and do these things. You've got 3 hours and then you just go to bed a bit earlier. So I was in bed I was in bed at 9:15, but I've got a little TV and that's not so. So I've had conversations with my partner. He's like, you've got a TV in your bedroom. I've never really thought about that. I'm not sure I want that. And I'm thinking, okay. And I'm thinking, but do you know what? I like being in bed watching TV. Okay, it's something I like doing. It's great. I sit there, I'm snuggled up in my duvet in my pajamas and I'm watching another episode of Anne of Green Gables. So I was asleep probably by about 20 past 10 last night. So I'm having loads of sleep, but I'm getting up and I'm really fitting as much as I possibly can into every single day, because that's what life, isn't it, is about. Getting as much as you can into each day. And consequently, this morning when I was kind of either driving or swimming, I think when I was swimming, I was thinking, right, okay, I could do a podcast on that. I can do a podcast on this and that. So that you get loads of ideas when you're doing things like that. I'm quite good at getting ideas. So I've had some ideas, and then another idea came up when I was chatting to my neighbour. It was a really interesting conversation. I'm a little bit, I came up to do the podcast after just spoke to her, and she just revealed something to me. And I'm just like, whoa. So I'm a little bit kind of like overwhelmed. Okay. I really am. I'm a little bit speechless, and it's kind of blown me away a little bit. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Whoa. Okay. It's like, yeah. So it has, and it's kind of, so do bear with me on this one. That's the reason why I'm maybe a little bit more kind of like spaced out thinking wise while I'm doing this one. I've also been doing a couple of swims after work. So I'm getting 3 swims in a week, because I'm noticing if I'm doing swimming, I don't ache as much, nowhere near as many issues. I've had my pain review appointment. I'm going to be sent for some sort of procedure where they inject something into my muscle, which should be interesting. And then what else am I doing? We went off to the caravan. Partner's got a caravan, Oh, that's right. I was talking about TV in bed, wasn't I? But he likes going out on his nights out and coming in really, really late in the morning, and I'm early in the morning, and I'm like, well, how's that going to work when we're together? Because that's going to really annoy me. But that's kind of the whole thing, isn't it, about relationships? There's never going to be you're not going to find the perfect fit. That's never going to happen. It's, because people are different, and we all like our little things. And for me, second time around, it's like I found somebody that I just fit with. I don't have to talk to them all the time. We have lots of silences, because I don't talk when I'm driving in the car, and he doesn't really do it either, so it doesn't bother me. I just sing along to the radio or something like that. But we have lots of silences. We don't talk non-stop, which I think is actually good, because you can kind of be yourself, because you don't have to constantly be thinking, I've got to find something to say, because it's a silence. It's all right. It's okay to be silent. You don't need to fill the space with something. Just be silent and just be. Just be there, And if you can't think of anything to say, well, that doesn't really matter, does it? But that's a new thing for me. Okay, that's a big kind of a learny thing for me, which is but that's good. Change is good. And I say, if we don't change, we don't grow. Sorry, I seem to be heavy breathing into the microphone a little bit. I've changed the angle on it. Hopefully that's not going to happen. I was like, yeah, do apologise. Hopefully that should stop now. I've changed the angle. And also it's about compromising, isn't it? So I'm like, we're going to have some discussions about how things are going to work. And you have to be able to compromise, So, and one thing that I probably wouldn't have done in the past, and I've gone, oh, right, okay, yeah, and then that's it. No, we won't do that, because you don't want that. Because it's easier, if you don't like confrontation or arguing, just to agree with somebody. But this time it's different. I was like, well, actually, that's going to be an issue for me. And yes, I want that. So we'll have to compromise on it. Don't take any crap. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Yes, we went off for our weekend in the caravan, because it's important that we kind of get these weekends away. And I filled in my review thing, and a lot of it's more focused for my jobs. It's more focused on well-being now, rather than how do you want to perform? Where do you want to progress to? Because not everyone wants to progress, do they? We don't all want to progress. We don't all want to do something. I don't want to progress anymore. I don't have any desires to be any senior than I already am. In my work anyway, certainly. Personal goals are slightly different, but I think for work-wise, it's like I'm quite happy where I am. I've got 2 really good jobs, which I really enjoy doing. I don't think, oh no, I've got to work today. I think, yeah, I've got to work today. I'm going off to work. That's okay. But I've got to manage that, get there for do X, Y, Z by that time and then get there. But I never think, oh, I've got to go to work. Ugh. And I'm thinking it's maybe because I don't work normal standard hours, because I do have that flexibility. to be able to fit in other things around it. And it makes me get all my work done. I'm really up to date. I have to be really organised with everything. And yeah, and I'd say, so I don't get that. You know, occasionally on a Friday evening, I think, oh, you know, I could do with a Friday evening off. But, you know, hey, it doesn't really matter. I finished, you know, about 8. So I can still do something afterwards if I really wanted to. But as I say, I think, yeah, because I have got that flexibility. I feel like I have a really, really good work-life balance. And I think certainly doing the 3 hours of stuff in the morning, you know, or 2.5, because I probably start work at 8 o'clock. In the winter, it's not going to work. But I'll just get up and start work earlier and then do something, you know, for an hour in the middle of the day. That'll be fine. But there's compromise all around, isn't there? But I think it is important. I think not having the standard 9 to 5 job, as she says, watching all these bumblebees flying out from the roof of her bathroom, going, how many are in there? There's about 5 have just flown out, but they're growing bigger, so it's fine. They were little to start off with. That's why I thought they were honeybees, and they're now bigger, so they're definitely bumblebees. So they won't last long. It'll be fine. You don't have to worry about it. They haven't got it in the house, so that's okay. Don't panic. I've blocked that bit off. They can't get in anymore. That was a bit of a concern for a while. Yeah, so I think I have got a good work-life balance, and this was one of the things, you know, on the actual review thing. You know, how's your work-life balance? What can we do to support it? And it took 7 minutes for my review. My manager just went, yeah, well, you're really happy, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, I really enjoy coming to work. He's like, well, should I put that in the additional comments? I was like, yeah, go for your life, do that. That's fine. You know, because I do enjoy going to work, and I get to see lots of interesting people, and I really like my job, and I'm only there for about 3.5 hours anyway. You know, so in the evenings, and that works really, really well for me, because I've either done my other job in 3 days, or I've done something else. Because like my neighbour's like, you're not working today? And I was like, I don't work on a Friday. Only start at like 4:30. I said, usually I'm off to art or something like that. And she's like, right, okay. She said, well, feel free to use my sofa at the back of the garden, because we have like a shared garden space. It doesn't really work, but we make it work. And the main thing is we pick all the dog poo up, and I do anyway. But if Pippa's done something in her garden, I go and do a D-Mind session every day. So she likes Pippa anyway, so it's fine. She's like, go and sit on my seating. I said, I'll send you a picture saying, here, I hope you're enjoying work. I'm here on your sofa in your garden enjoying the sunshine. Thank you very much. You know, and I was like, and it's just really nice that we've got that, you know, kind of shared sort of space. And to be fair to her, she mows my lawn. What do I do to help her? I put the bins out. Okay, I do put her bin out. We seem to have missed a few because I haven't been here, but I do that. And she's like, oh, I'll deadhead a rose bush. I was like, all right, cheers. She's great, honestly. Do you know what? I don't think you could wish for a better neighbour than I have. She's great. She's awesome. We get on really, really well. And that's, you know, and I met the other neighbour next door as well. I said, she knows him as well. She said, she's telling me loads of funny stories. By the way, I met him. I said, he looks a bit like Spock, doesn't he? Does it? I was like, yeah, it's the eyebrows. It's the eyebrows. And he's got a dog next door as well. And we said hello to the dog. The dog always stands on the windowsill, you know, sort of wagging its tail, and it's been dying to meet me. So, you know, that was quite nice. But you know, neighbours make up, a massive part of your world, don't they? So it is important that you do have a good relationship with your neighbours. I have been in situations where the neighbours have been really strange and I haven't had particularly good relationships with them, or they're a bit false. You're not really sure, and you know, about who they are, and it's all a bit weird. But anyway, I've got certainly one neighbour next door. In fact, the other one on the other side, they're really nice. It's a lovely little village I live in. It's great. I really like it here. They're just so nice. Okay, yeah, so went off to Warrington Weekender. Have I got there yet? No, yeah, I did that. Went to see some bands. That was really good. Really enjoyed that. I'm just quickly scanning through my diary to see what else I did. I've got like a paper diary that I actually write things on. And I've got so many things in there that I'm like, right, okay, do that. And then I cross it out that I haven't done it. But the idea is there in the first place, isn't it? And I haven't actually been to see my art exhibition yet. No. That's probably on the list of things to do this weekend. I'll try and fit that in tomorrow sometime, which should be quite good. Oh, and so for next month, I've signed up for Pilates, okay, with the same instructor that I go on holiday with. I haven't been to any classes now, but I've signed up on a Monday morning to go and do Pilates because it's important to keep stretching. At the older you get, the more you need to stretch because your body just goes, you can't do that anymore, love. It's not happening. No, it's not quite like that because I'm hypermobile, which I only found out a couple of years ago when I was doing yoga. And the woman said, you do realise you're hypermobile, don't you? I was like, how can you tell? It's like, well, you just started yoga where you can do all these weird stretches already, which which not many people have been here for a year can do. I was like, oh, right, okay, thanks very much. So I'm hypermobile. But that's actually not a good thing because actually you can be more prone to injuries if you're hypermobile, which is another reason why I'm doing so much swimming and so much, I'm going to be doing Pilates once a week. So I think, the essential thing I have learned from doing my running last time is don't overdo it. Take loads of rests, okay? Make sure you do something like swimming in between, and also make sure you do Pilates. They're all really important. It's not just about running, okay? It's about all the other kind of things. And there are so many benefits from it. You can, there's so many, it's like they sort of release so many endorphins going for a run. I felt great after I came back from my run. I was soaking wet and all, when you're kind of like all hot and kind of sticky. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I felt great after a run. Great feeling. It's brilliant. Yeah. It was just honestly a fantastic feeling. And I'll just leave you on this one. I have casting through my diaries of what I'm doing this weekend. But so we're going off to see a band, okay, somewhere. I'm not going to say where. And okay, so I'm part of a group called Meetup, and the Meetup guys are like, right, we're going to see this band, and I had a look, and there's no spaces left, and I'm like, well, I'm going to see the band anyway, and I thought, well, what do I do? Because last time this happened, somebody went to one of the Meetup things without saying that they were going, and they got kicked out of Meetup. And I was like, well, I don't really want to get kicked out of Meetup. So I thought, well, what can I do? So I just shoved a little comment on just saying, just to let you know, I'm going to be at this, but I'm not coming as part of Meetup because we're going because my partner knows the singer in the band. I think that's a legitimate reason, isn't it? I'm just like, I think sometimes if you let people know in advance that this is going to be happening, they can't really argue with it. It's when you maybe turn up and they think, oh, she's arrived, she's come here. She shouldn't be here. She hasn't got a name on the list. She didn't tell us she was coming. But actually, so I've said, actually, I'm going to be there because we know the band, we're going to go and see our friends in the band. Well, I've met him once, but my partner's known him for years. So they it is a legitimate excuse. And here we are. We have reached the end of May. Where are we? January, February, March, April, May, 5 months in. And which, you know what that means? 18-month anniversary has been and gone for my partner and I. How scary is that? Yeah, really scary. I mean, and like with relationships, yeah, we have like ups and downs. We don't really argue though. Ups and downs. We don't really argue. We had a brief discussion about germs in the sink the other day because he puts he's got like a big sink and a small sink, and he puts things that are clean in the small sink. And I'm like, yeah, but there's germs in the sink. But I don't use that sink. I was like, but they still come up to the plug hole. And he was like laughing at me, going, well, sort of like. And I should have turned around to him and said, right, so how many SIPs are there? Standard infection control protocols. How many are there? Yeah, there are 10, by the way. You don't need to Google it, I'll tell you. And I felt like saying that to him. I thought, well, actually, no, that's not true, actually. I kind of thought, well, I don't know what to say now. But then I thought afterwards, I should have said that to him. I should have said that, shouldn't I? We always think that, don't we? I've had quite a lot of training through my experiences being trained as domestic, and also we have to do infection control stuff as part of general hospital things. So I've had quite a lot of training on germs and how they spread and stuff. I have also had a lot of food hygiene courses, and that always makes me laugh. People go, oh, I went out for dinner, I've got food poisoning. Chances are you didn't get that from going out for dinner. You probably got it from your own fridge, because I look at some people's fridges. They say, "Oh, can you get the milk out of the fridge?" And I'll go in and I dread it. I dread getting the milk out of the people's fridges, because I open up the door and they've got the meat on the top shelf, raw meat on the top shelf, cooked meat next to it, cheese just below that, and you're just like, no, That's wrong, okay? Germs can hop from one thing to the other. That's how germs move. And, you have to have your meat on the bottom shelf, and then you have your cooked meat above that, and then you have your cheese and your dairy on the top shelf. That's how it should be. It's like, but no. So it just made me laugh when people tell me about food poisoning, and I just go, yeah, right, yeah, that's probably, I'm sure you just get it from the restaurant. Yes, of course you did. Okay, then. Right, that's it. We've reached 30 minutes. So I'm going to call it a day there, because I've got another one podcast to record next, which is going to be quite exciting, actually. It's a bit, not controversial, but I'm trying to do some interesting ones. I've still got a travel one that I want to do, but that requires me finding photographs, and I just don't have enough time to do that at this very moment in time. But it certainly is penciled on the list of things that I need to do. But I've got a really good one. I want to start doing a few more controversial ones, try and build my listeners up a little bit more. But anyway, I just want to say massive thanks, for listening. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and just try not to get too stressed by current events. Right, you'll notice there isn't going to be a news rant one, because you know what? I haven't been listening to the news. I think after coming back from holiday, I thought, I didn't really miss listening to the news. I'm not going to bother. I don't really know. There's a few things that have been going on, and I'll just have a ranty comment, or I'll just put a comment about it on Instagram instead. That's all I'm doing with the news ones. But I've got some other interesting ones that are going to be coming up instead. Anyway, have a great week, and I'll catch you next time.